Hello, Internet! Welcome to 2.5 Brains. This is our weekly discussion of The Amazing Race. The latest episode of The Amazing Race, talking all about it here. Before we get too far into it, be sure to subscribe so you get all the updates. You can tweet me at YoGrabAGabba. You can like our page on Facebook, facebook.com/Pavement Productions. You can also email the show, pavementproductions@gmail.com. So you can also add a comment, share it, and let us know what you think, and tell your friends. And if you comment enough times and share the post and all that stuff, you can definitely we could probably get you on the show, or at the very least get your comment read on the show. So definitely do all that. We are 2.5 Brains, talking all about the latest episode, and between the 2.5 brains that we have, we're not nearly as smart as the guy in Jeopardy. But definitely excited to talk all about it here. Jessica wanted to be with us. She could not this week, but she did record a little something for her take on the episode. So I definitely want to go ahead and send you over to Jessica's discussion of the episode real quick, and then we'll come back with myself and Mr. B back to break it all down on this episode. So let's go to Jessica right now.
Hello everybody. Like Pat said, I wasn't here to record with them, but I wanted to kind of give a little feedback from my perspective on the episode. I'm very happy it was non-elimination because Nick and Vic were obviously out. Goes to show you should ask for directions, as Vic did not want to, but Nick did, and that kind of cost him a lot. Thankfully, non-elimination, they are still in the game. Even after Rachel and Alyssa wanted to start drama, and we're talking about you turning Nick and Vic with Granimals, as I call them, and Team Fun, but they gave Nick and Vic a clue. They told them that they were talking about it and wanted to give them a heads up because they were being partners together, and that kind of backfired, I guess, because Nick and Vic wanted to make sure it was legit, and that started more drama, and Rachel and Alyssa just freaked out about it, and more drama. Obviously, it's Rachel and Alyssa, that's what it's gonna be. But the roadblock was interesting, the free falling. I don't think I'd ever want to do that. I was really surprised that Nick went through with it. I'm glad she didn't wait and become the last person or not want to do it, because I thought she was really close to not going through with it. The detour, the ziplining was pretty sweet. That was probably, I don't know, they were both kind of long. It could have been the faster one. The train up the hill to kind of get the names, and by memory have to put it on the map and list it by where it was and what it held. That was a little harder. You had to have a lot of memory for that. Not, what was it? Only 2 people went for that one. But, it was pretty cool. Switzerland looked amazing. And yeah, I thought it was a great episode. Just, a little tidbit. My winner pick is still in the game. I still think they have a great shot to win. They do work well together, except for this one time, Vic did not want to ask for directions. So next time, please ask for directions. Just know where you're going. There's no use in being in another country, driving aimlessly around, not having any idea where you're going. Just ask, and it'll be good. But hopefully we'll be on here next week. And until then, see you guys later.
All right, thank you, Jessica, for that. And let's go ahead now and dive into this week's episode with my co-host as well, as part of the tripod that is this video, this vlog. Mr. B-Back is
the other quarter that makes up the half of 2.5 Brains.
Correct. So definitely not smarter than Jeopardy guy with the 2 of us here. With Jessica, we might come close with Jessica, but not just the 2 of us. So, anyways, let's go ahead and talk a little bit about this episode here. What were your thoughts?
Another fun episode. Definitely some shenanigans going on. Didn't like that it was another non-elimination leg, but appreciated the fact that it was a team that I like that didn't get eliminated, and they still have another chance going into next week.
For sure. So let's start off here. I want to talk a little bit about the paranoia with the U-turn. That was kind of the first thing we kind of wanted to mention here. What would you take on the U-turn? And obviously, it looks like there's going to be one next week based on the previews. But what do you think about the U-turn paranoia, all the drama that led from that?
I mean, I could see why there was paranoia. It seemed like in the previews there was going to be one soon. There already was one, and just Rachel and Alyssa stirring up more crap, and I could see why they wanted to target Beck and Floyd, being that they were one of the stronger teams, but in the end, it just kind of fell on deaf ears.
Yeah, for sure. And they're trying to play both sides a little bit too much. I think they're trying to do their own thing, and nobody really wants to be a part of that right now. I think it's kind of like the beginning of World War One. All these alliances forming, and eventually something's going to give. So
Is this Big Brother thing with no U-turns?
I don't think it's gonna last.
No.
But anyways, so let's go ahead and shift gears and talk about the roadblock this week with the bungee jumping. Tell me about your thoughts on the roadblock.
I definitely wouldn't have done it. I'm afraid of heights, but that's why you have a partner, and it looked fun for them, but not my thing.
Yeah, no, not at all. I talked to Jessica about it, and we said, well, if we were on the race together, who would do it? She said, you'd do it. I said, no, I wouldn't. You'd do it. And we said, well, it's for $1 million. One of us would have to. But it'd be you, because I'm not doing it. But it was definitely not my thing either. Definitely would not want to do that. But I wouldn't want her to do it either, because I would be scared that something would happen. So, I don't know. I guess maybe we'd take a penalty or something. I don't know, because I don't know if either one of us would be able to do it. But hey, it's $1 million, so suck it up and do it. What about the detour? Tell me about the detour.
The detour was you either had to propel down the canyon. You either had to propel down a canyon or go up a roller coaster like ride and memorize the names of dams and how much water they held. I would have definitely taken the propelling down the canyon, even though I'm not scared. Even though I am scared of heights, with Switzerland and the language barrier. That's one less thing I would have had to memorize the names and the numbers for the water. They did have to, once the ride was over, they did have to match those names and numbers on a map. So that's one less thing I'd have to memorize. But the edit looked like that they got the teams that took that route did very well and got it done on the first try. The propelling down the canyon took a little longer, but I would have gone with propelling down the canyon.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you have to go down the canyon, then you have to go. You jump in the water and grab the clue. Then you have to walk across this other thing. Then you zip line, and then land in the water. So there's a lot to it, and it was definitely physically demanding. My concern, of course, is my lack of memory. So I don't think I would be able to handle the thing. Plus, they said if you messed it up, we didn't see this happen because it didn't look like anybody messed it up. But if you mess it up, you have to go back down and then go back up again and look again. And you could see when Leo and Jamal got it, they had to wait for the thing to come back up to them so they could go ride it back down. So then if they had to go all the way back up again, that would have been quite a waste of time.
And they said it wasn't just one team said it wasn't just the 7 or 8 dams that they saw on the signs. There was like 25. There were like 20 or some total, and other ones to throw you off. I think that was Chris and Brett, but I wouldn't have done it for memory.
Yeah, it's a done with memory and having to do all that, having to figure that out. I don't think I'd be able to handle it. So I'm glad that they had to do it.
Tater tots.
Exactly. So
we convict.
Exactly. So either way, we'll see how it turns out. But it looked like the teams who did well. But I think that's definitely one of those higher variance ones where the physically demanding one. I always say if you can do the physically demanding one, do that one because at least you know it's straightforward. You're not gonna have to think a whole lot on the physically demanding ones, and obviously thinking is not my strong suit. So let's talk then about Nick and Vic. I know Jess kind of talked about it a little bit. Big reason Nick and Vic almost lost. What would you say?
Vic didn't want to ask for directions, and when he finally did, he got out of the car, and Chris and Brett and Rachel and Alyssa surpassed him.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, it's so tough because Brett and Chris and Rachel and Alyssa were going the wrong way. They ended up getting directions, turning around, going the right way, whereas Nick and Vic were a little bit lost, but they were heading in the right direction. They got the car asked for directions, they got passed.
Yep.
So it's really, I mean, they didn't want to ask for directions. Eventually did stop and ended up getting passed because they stopped. If they would have kept going, they probably would have got there ahead of everybody else because they were fine. I mean, there was a little bit of hesitation on the jump with Nicole,
but they were still in fifth at that point.
Right. And then they went up on the going up the train to go up to the top of the mountain. Whatever it took a little time because they had to wait to go up, wait to go down, all that stuff. But they got it right and they were fine. But it was just the pulling over. It doesn't happen all the time, and sometimes, like I said, even like some legs, you don't have to even drive the pit stop. You just like walk or run to the pit stop. But driving the pit stop once in a while will lead to a team to get lost, get passed up, whatever, get stuck in traffic when other teams aren't. Those kinds of things. So usually it seems like the teams who leave for the pit stop first get there first, but not in every case. And in this case, it was just missed a bad time to have lack of confidence in your ability. Bad time to get a little lost. Bad time to
get out of the car.
And get directions and end up getting overtaken. So it was crazy. I didn't expect that to happen that way. But luckily for them, luckily for Jessica, her winner pick was spared elimination this week. So is that the third non-eliminated already? Or is it the second?
At least the second.
Yeah, so
I think it might be the third.
Yeah, they usually only have 3 in a season, and they have maybe like the one continuation leg. I was thinking.
I think it was the third. It was Chris and Brett on the first, the sisters on the second, and this one.
And all 3 are still in the game, which is crazy. Yeah, and it's funny because they usually do 3 non-eliminations, then they do like one like continuation leg. It's like a 2-part episode. That has they kind of don't. There's no real pit stop. They just keep going. So we'll see. They've already got through 3 non-eliminations. I'm interested to see if they're gonna switch things up, do things a little differently this time, or if it's kind of gonna be the same format they usually follow. But one thing that's definitely different is that anybody's a little spoiler verse. Skip ahead about a minute, but the previews next week talked about the U-turn vote next week. I don't know if you saw that in the trailer. Next week they're gonna do a vote. One team's getting U-turned, and they're gonna vote on who it is. And it's not gonna be like Big Brother, or it's not gonna be like Survivor where you cast the vote in secret. It's gonna be like Big Brother where you have to say it. Who you vote for, you vote to get U-turned, and they have to say it. So there's no hiding, no I didn't vote for you. Everybody's gonna know who you voted for, and it's gonna be out in the open. So that's gonna definitely amp up the drama. And what are the odds that Alyssa and Rachel get U-turned?
I hope they do, but in the end, one of them said it's for $1 million, guys. So who knows what's gonna happen? It could be them because they pissed people off. Mm-hmm. Or do you go for a team that's actually a threat, like a Tyler and Corey, or a Team Fun, or a Colin and Christy?
Yeah, right.
So
for sure, it's really one of those things where everybody doesn't like Rachel and Alyssa, so voting for them would be the easy one, and that'd be the easy vote because nobody likes them. You're not getting any blood in your hands, but maybe you're right. Maybe you do throw vote for the Afghanimals or for Corey or and Tyler or whoever, Colin, Christy, and see who or team whoever, Team Fun, whoever. One thing that might be smart is to throw it on Nick and Vic, so that way they have the speed bump and a U-turn.
That's right.
And that way they're getting knocked out. There's not going to be able to overcome both of those things. And then also, it's usually a double U-turn because the team gets U-turn has a chance to maybe save themselves by U-turning somebody else. So maybe it's the first two teams get U-turned. Maybe it's the first place gets U-turned and then they pick somebody else, or maybe it's just one U-turn. That'll be really interesting too to see how that turns out. Because usually, if somebody survives U-turn, it's because they have a second team that also got U-turned. So we'll see. It's gonna be very interesting to see how they decide to do it. They've never done this before, obviously, and they're doing something new in Switzerland. And there's these players are used to voting people out, so at least the Big Brother Survivor team, so that's a little advantage to them. But we'll see. I don't know. I'm very curious to see how they're going to play this on this U-turn vote for next week. Do you think there's going to be any shenanigans? Do you think the person's going to get? And do you think the team U-turn is going to get eliminated next week?
It's possible. Anything's possible at this point. We'll see. I definitely can't wait. It's a first, and the game continues to evolve. I'm definitely excited about it.
For sure. And it's one of those things too. These Amazing Race players teams usually don't have to be nice because they can just do what they want to do, and there's no social politicking. But this is going to change that a little bit. So I'm very interested to see. I think it depends on who gets U-turned if they have a shot and how they play it. If it's one U-turn, if it's two U-turns, all that. So we really don't have enough information really yet to say what's going to happen. But I think if it's like Rachel and Alyssa, they could definitely do it. And like you said though, the comment about it's for $1 million, guys. I wonder if they U-turn somebody who was a popular team that nobody else wanted to U-turned, and that's why they're like getting heat for it. And then they say it's for $1 million, guys. I don't know. I could see them U-turning like Nick and Vic or something though, or a fan favorite team, and then getting heat for it. But hey, what else is new, right? They've been getting heats for the entire season, and I was talking to you yesterday. Corinne and Eliza hated them, and everybody else hates them now too. So I think there might be one common denominator. I think they're just not a likable team.
Yep.
But hey, one more.
I don't like them.
I don't either. One more like for Rachel, and she breaks the all-time record for likes in Amazing Race.
More meaningless stats.
Yes, exactly. So let's go ahead and talk then about what we're here for, the power rankings. So the power rankings here, we are going to talk about that as we wrap up. And so real quick here, let's take a look at, obviously there's 7 teams left. Again, the Amazing Race power rankings are not based on who finished in what order. It's really an overall season thing, right? It's overall who's doing well this season, who's not doing well this season, and who maybe we expect to see go next. But just in general, it's more of a overall season power ranking. The team who finished 7th isn't necessarily going to be in 7th place here. It's just kind of a, did that team have a bad week, or is that some, a trend of things to come? So right now, who do we have on our list of teams number 7 on the power rankings?
Rachel and Alyssa.
Oh, shocking. Why would you say Rachel and Alyssa are on the bottom right now?
Another bad leg. I mean, really, it was a race. It was until Nick and Vic got out of the car. It was a race for last between them and Chris and Brett.
For sure. So it was. I don't know. I'm not sure what they're gonna do this week. I really don't. I don't know if they're gonna make it another week. I mean, they seem to always find a way to get through it. So I guess we'll see. I'm not really sure, but I think maybe this could be the leg they finally get knocked out. But they've shown they have more lives than a cat, so we'll see. But definitely not. They're definitely not blowing anybody with their ability and their strength. So, anyways, what is next?
Brett and Chris at number 6.
Yeah, number 6, Brett and Chris. They didn't have very good leg either. I feel like they're one of those teams that have a very high variance. Again, I feel like they're a team who they have things that they're really good at, and they can be a top 3 team, and then there's things that they're really bad at, and they can be a bottom 3rd team. I think they're going to be. I think they're in trouble too. I really do. I think Brett's got to do some the challenges here. He's got some fears and some paranoias and that kind of thing. And I think Chris has got a lot of skills, but I don't know if together they're gonna get too much further. Unfortunately, for my winner pick. I'd love to see it, but I feel like they're maybe getting close to drawing dead here. I don't know if that's what you think.
I definitely think so too. I definitely think the end is near for them. I mean, good for them. They conquered their fear of heights on the detour and the zip line, but it was really they got beat out by Rachel and Alyssa, and it was really it could have been. I really think it should have been one of them that got eliminated, and between the two, they're drawn dead.
For sure. And it's one of those things where next week there could be some challenges that are right up their alley, and they finish third. But if you ask me, who's got the best odds of winning, I'd say they have this, if not the worst odds, definitely the second worst odds of winning at this point. They haven't been strong enough to get to the end. I don't think they could win the next leg. If something goes their way. But I would bet stronger on the fact that they're eliminated than the fact that they win the leg. So. Who we got for Team 5 right now?
Team 5, Nick and Vic.
Yeah, and I didn't want to put them here because they had been doing well. They had been in the top 3 pretty much every time. But you can't come this close to being eliminated and be in the top 3 on the power rankings. They had a bad week. I don't think it necessarily is a trend. I think they could come out of it. But at the same time, I fear if they have that killer instinct. I fear if they have that, the Afghanis were messing with them again. They kind of got rattled. I don't know if they have. They're a strong couple. Together, they do a good job together. But I just wonder if they're going to be rattled going forward, and if they're going to be nervous and not going for the kill as they should be doing. Any other thoughts on them?
I certainly hope this week was just a blip on the radar for them. Good for Nick that she did the zip line, and I certainly didn't think she was going to go through it and they would get pushed to the back of the line, but they face a speed bump next week, and I think those are more of a hindrance than anything pretty simple task, cut and dry. So I think they can't. So I think unless they do get the U-turn vote and have to do the speed bump and the U-turn like you alluded to earlier, I think hopefully they got a decent shot.
Yeah, I do think too. The speed bumps usually get harder later on the race. So this is the third one. It was probably the hardest of the 3. So again, I don't know. I think they still have a good shot. But I did say it before too. Usually the teams who are the top teams, one of them usually gets knocked out earlier than you expect. This has only been the case so far this season, but I do see them falling back relatively soon if they can't get a good push forward again. I think they can finish back in the top 3 next week. I think they'll be good, but it's gonna be tough with a speed bump and maybe U-turn. So bad week for U-turn, I think. I mean, and they're kind of a threat too. They're not maybe the number 1 threat on the board per se. But I could see them getting U-turn because they're not, so the teams could be like, look, these guys are on the bottom. Let's just push them the rest of the way down, and get out of a strong team. So I can see that. What's next? Who is number 4 on our list?
The Afghanimals.
Yeah, the Afghanimals. They had a better week this week than they had previously. So they've been really high, then they were really low, and now they're kind of back more towards the middle, and I guess that's why they're 4th. When they don't fight, they do a lot better. That's just the name of the game, though. I don't know. It's hard to put them anywhere other than middle of the pack because they were terrible. They were great, won the first 2 legs, and they were terrible and were almost eliminated a couple times. So now they're kind of more towards the middle. I can see them kind of staying right there and maybe getting knocked out 4th or 5th. But we'll know more next week, obviously.
Yeah, I think they've peaked. Nice rebound fourth place finish this week, but I think they've peaked.
I can certainly see it. And again, they did well. I mean, they were they got their clue after the detour. They were in first place, but again, they had to wait for that train to come back, and it's little things like that. It's hard to to base it on that, but that's why too. I would rather have my fate in my own hands. I'd rather if I fell, I don't want it to be because of a taxi or because of a I'm waiting for a gondola to come back up. I want to be because I'm not doing the task well. They did the task well. They finished in first place in the task part, and then they ended up being fourth because they had to wait for the ride to come back. So it's tough. It's tough to decide which detour to do, but I think they picked the wrong one this week. Who is number 3 on the power rankings?
Team Fun.
Team Fun, yeah. Why Team Fun?
They had a good leg, finished second, and are still one of the stronger teams. I am a little concerned that they are a target for this U-turn vote next week, but they just gotta keep doing what they're doing.
Sure, and they're getting along well. They've won a couple legs. They're right in it. They're definitely in the thick of it here, and we'll see how it turns out. But for right now, they have been they've been getting along. They're not fighting, all those things, and so far so good. But I don't know. They could be targeted. They could definitely be targeted with the U-turn. I don't think they're gonna be Public Enemy number 1 either. But yeah, I think they'll probably at least get Rachel Alyssa's vote. Or they'll be Nick and Vic. Who knows? So it's tough to say. But right now, I think they're in a decent spot. I think they have as good of a shot to win as just about anybody. But there's definitely some strong teams left, and they're one of the strong teams. But there's definitely some stiff competition for them to get through. Who's number 2 on the list?
Colin and Christy.
Yeah, they've been number 1 a lot on the power rankings, but they're down number 2 this week. They're doing fine. Again, nothing that they're doing wrong per se. But they haven't been number 1 in a couple weeks now, and they've slipped a little bit here. I still think if you ask me who's going to go to the final 3, I would still put them in the final 3. Maybe not winning, but certainly I would put them in the final 3 right now. It'd probably be them, Team Fun, or Nick and Vic, and our number 1 with these guys would be in there. Any other thoughts on these two?
No, pretty cut and dry.
Pretty straightforward. Number 1 power ranking this week. They've been doing really well. They've been winning legs. Who's number 1?
Won the last 2 legs, Tyler and Corey.
Tyler and Corey, and they are peaking. I think. I don't think they've peaked yet. I think they're still peaking. And I think they're still getting better and stronger. I feel like the last time they played, they're a bunch of goofballs. This time they're still having fun, but they're not just like hot messes anymore. They're taking the race a little more seriously, and I think that's better for them because a lot of times they say just have fun and it'll be good, but you have to also have some strategy, have some brain behind it, and have some intentionality behind it. And I think they are now. I think they've learned that hey, we can have fun and and not fight, not in all that stuff. But they also, I think they now realize that they are a good enough team to win the race. They have enough going for them. They have enough. They're physically fit. They're athletic enough. They have a lot of unique skill sets. They're artsy. All those things that I think could help them win the race. And I think they're finally starting to realize that. Because last time they just goofed around a little bit too much, and now they're still having fun and they're still entertaining for sure. But then now they're kind of more like, all right, look, we're not far away from winning this race, so we should just go do it. And I think the only thing that's happened to them at this point is that.
I definitely agree with you on that. Seemed a little goofy on this leg though with Sebastian.
Yeah, oh jeez.
But
they were very distracted.
Yes, they were. But again, another first place finish. Seemed more. They seemed this, and I agree with you. They seem more aggressive and going for it, and they're definitely a threat.
For sure. So, sounds good. I definitely am open to seeing what happens next. I think the U-turn vote will be a huge game changer. Maybe it'll be a flop, but I think it'll be a nice game changer for the race, and then something else that's new. And I believe, don't quote me, but I believe there's going to be at least one more of the head-to-heads. So we'll see when that happens.
They said last week this is the first head-to-head, right. So I got to believe that there's at least one more.
For sure. I think they're probably through the non-eliminations, which would be fun the rest of the way, but there might be still some more twists. Who knows? But so far so good. It's been a good episode, and it's been a pretty fun season so far. Last couple seasons have been really strong. We'll see how it ends. As always, as we've learned from Survivor, it's not necessarily how it starts, it's how it ends. So in the last couple seasons have been kind of ending with not the greatest winners. So we'll see. I think Tyler and Corey have a good shot. I think Colin Christie have a good shot. I think Team Fun has a good shot, and that's a little bit dip off from there. But there's been a lot of drama this week, and it's like you said. I'm usually here for that. Pretty much here for the drama, for the fun, for the entertainment value. And Rachel and Alyssa not being eliminated is great for the show because, they're gonna keep stirring the pot, keep causing trouble, and I'm all about that too. So, cool. Other than that, I think that's all we have for you for this week. Definitely subscribe to our videos so you get all the updates. Email the show at pavmentproductions@gmail.com. You can find us on Facebook, facebook.com/pavmentproductions. Jessica's Twitter handle is Just820, and mine is Yo Grabba Gabba. And I think that's pretty much everything for you. Any other final updates? Any other final thoughts before we wrap up this week?
No final thoughts. Follow them.
Follow us, yes, and get the updates and don't miss anything. We're gonna, with our current work and moving schedule, everything going on right now, trying to keep everything together and trying to get the videos out as soon as possible. See if we can do this next couple of weeks. Hopefully, we don't get too far behind or don't get the video out too late. But with everything going on, we're trying to get the videos out for you. But like I said, if we're a little bit delayed, just subscribe so you get the updates whenever they're out instead of having to try to wait and find them. So other than that, I think that's it. I think that's all we got for you here. Until next time, safe travels.